Begin with a yoga block between your inner thighs, as close to the pelvis as possible. Take a yoga strap around your thighs just above your knees. Secure the strap so that it is snug, so that when you squeeze into the block, the strap does not get loose, and when you press out into the strap, the block does not get loose. Let the spine settle into neutral, finding that place for your pelvis where it's not tipped forward or backward. Let the front of the lower ribs sink toward the spine, a slight rib anchor. Let the shoulders relax toward the floor. As you exhale, gently begin to press your inner thighs toward the block, squeezing in. And as you inhale, press your knees out, pressing out into the strap. As you inhale and you're pressing in, begin to tone consciously the deep core muscles, transverse abdominal and pelvic floor, working with the same intensity. If you're squeezing the block 20%, think of toning the pelvic floor and transverse abdominal 20%. As you inhale, keep a little bit of that tone so that your core feels elastic, like a balloon expanding with the inhale. And as you exhale, just finding that resting tone that you're consciously aware of and consciously setting. See if you can find a 5-count breath so that you're exhaling for a count of 5, and so that you're inhaling for a count of 5. Each exhale, toning the core, squeezing the block. As you exhale, if you like, you can lift your hips slowly and gradually into a bridge. Maybe feel the bones of your pelvis so that you're not rocking side to side, or if you are, you can try to find where that level place is for both sides of the pelvis. Continue with that pattern of squeezing in as you exhale and pressing out as you inhale. Matching the intensity of your squeeze, 20, 40, 60%, whatever it is, with the intensity of the core tone. Keeping some tone as you inhale, pressing out into the strap. Use your exhale to begin to lower your pelvis. Inhale at the bottom, press into the strap. As you exhale and you squeeze the block, you can begin to straighten your right leg so that your thigh bones stay level and your knees stay level, and then continue with the squeezes and the presses, the same pattern. Consciously toning the core as you're exhaling, with the option to lift into bridge here as well, using the exhale to squeeze into the block. Feeling the pelvis so that you're trying to lift both sides of the pelvis evenly. Stay with the same pattern, inhaling and pressing out into the strap. 5-count breath. As you exhale and you squeeze the block in, you can lower the pelvis and switch legs, pausing for an inhale. Pressing out, keeping some core tone. Your core is elastic and expansive. And as you exhale and you squeeze the block, you can begin to extend your left leg. Stay for your inhale, 5-count breath, pressing out into the strap. And as you exhale, squeezing the block. And if you would like, lifting into bridge. Feeling the pelvis and only lifting as high as you can, with both sides of the pelvis staying level, moving at the same rate, the same speed, staying with the pattern of the breath. As you exhale and you squeeze the block, lower your pelvis. As you inhale, you can sweep your arms out from your sides into a T shape with your palms up. Find a shoulder lock by suctioning your shoulder blades into your ribs. Press your arms into the ground to imprint into the earth. Use the exhale to squeeze the block, tone the core, and bring your knees up right in line with your hips, and your feet up just about in line with your knees, maybe a little higher. As you exhale and you're toning the core, you're squeezing the block. And as you inhale, you're pressing out into the strap. As you exhale, you can begin to let your knees go over to the right, letting the left side of your pelvis lift up. And as you inhale, pressing out into the strap to come back through center. And as you exhale, squeezing the block, toning the core. Bringing the knees to the left side, staying for the very end of your exhale, that little pause before you inhale, pressing out into the strap and returning to center, and then over to the other side as you exhale, with the option to extend the legs for a little longer lever. As your pelvis lifts, your spine moves into rotation through the middle part of your spine, your thoracic spine. Your exhale squeezes the block, consciously tones the core evenly and smoothly without gripping in the neck or shoulders. Still pressing with your arms to keep the shoulders anchored. Strength through the upper body with the rotation. Your exhale will bring you down, and then an inhale can stretch your legs out long, your arms out long, overhead. And then as you exhale, you can bend your knees, you can roll over to your side. Scoot back on your mat so that you're at the far edge of your mat where there's a lot of room in front of you. And you can take a blanket to pad your knees if you like. Your elbow will be right underneath your shoulder in preparation for a side plank. And you can begin with your squeezes and your presses and just stay here if you like. Or as you exhale, squeeze the block and lift your hips. Inhale, press your knees out into the block with the option to extend the top arm. Both shoulders in shoulder lock, arms spiral. Your exhale brings you through center plank, through forearm plank, and over to the other side into side plank. See if you can try to level out your feet as if you're holding a block between your feet as well. And as you exhale, rolling through center. And just continuing with that pattern, and then taking child's pose whenever you're ready. Remind yourself of your breath. And prepare for quadruped, tabletop, knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Find that little shoulder lock by wrapping your shoulder blades around your back, suctioning them into the ribs. Elbows point back toward your hips. Fingers are spread wide all the way down to the knuckles. Neutral spine, and as you exhale, the core is toning, lower belly especially, squeezing the block. And as you inhale, you're pressing out into the strap, 5 count breath. As you exhale, squeezing the block, you can tuck your toes under and lift your knees 1 or 2 inches from the ground, keeping your spine neutral, staying for inhale as you press out into the strap. You can stay with this, take breaks as needed, or you could begin this journey into downward dog. On your exhale, squeezing the block, moving your hips back ever so slightly, maybe a couple of inches, and then pausing, taking your inhale, pressing out into the strap. Every exhale, you can move back toward downward dog, another degree, another inch or 2, and then pause when you get to your inhale, 5 count breath, pressing out into the strap. Enjoying the journey into your downward dog. Exploring the nuances along the way, what your spine wants to do, what your shoulders want to do. And there's no place to be. It's an exploration of your body, an exploration of matching your breath with movement, centering as you exhale, squeezing the block, lowering the knees when you're ready. From here, you can come into a tall kneel, hips right over your knees. As you exhale, squeeze the block. Neutral pelvis, pubic bone in line with the 2 front pelvic points. You can think about a slight back bend here where your top of your sacrum moves a little bit forward to initiate that lumbar extension. So just a little preparation for a back bend. Squeezing the block as you exhale, connecting to the core. If you can't sense that connection to the pelvic floor and your lower belly, then just back out of the extension a little bit. Continuing with your breath pattern, 5-count breath. And option as you exhale to come back up, sit your hips down toward the backs of your heels. Bring your fingertips behind you, shrug the shoulders up by your ears, and then roll the shoulder blades back toward each other, suctioning them into your ribs as you lay your palms down. Arms spiral, biceps facing forward, pubic bone toward the navel as you exhale. Squeeze the block and begin to lift your hips. Keep bringing the pubic bone toward navel, connecting with the exhale as you're squeezing the block, toning the deep core. You can press out as you inhale into the strap. And as you exhale, you squeeze the block, lower your hips back down. Bring your hands in front of you, tuck your toes under, and come into a forward fold. Let the strap move down around your ankles. Stay with your breath, sensing the imaginary strap around your knees as you inhale. As you exhale, core is toning, squeezing the block. As you exhale, shift your weight into the balls of your feet, and as